Hello, Brian Weeks here again with another MMCD contract consideration. This video clip will cover the topic of issuing a change order. This video will review when a change order is needed and how to finalize the information needed on the form. I'll discuss negotiations and pricing methods, and then we'll use the example developed in the previous two videos to write up a change order. First of all, what is a change order? A change order is the formal authorization to both the contractor and the owner that the contract itself has been changed. On the contractor's side, it is the authorization required to do the work described. In fact, it's the demand that the work be done. Once a change order is issued, the contractor has no choice but to immediately comply whether or not the contractor wishes to do so. On the owner's side, it is formal negotiation that the contract costs are going to change and that the project completion date may change too. There is only one person who can authorize, that is, sign, a change order. This person is the contract administrator, or CA, who is appointed by the owner and whose authority is formalized in writing to the contractor. As an aside, this is why the CA must be a person, not a firm. Specifically, the MMCD does not allow delegation of this responsibility to an inspector. In fact, under the MMCD, the contract administrator's signature is good as gold, so that even the owner cannot override a signed change order without the strong potential for resulting costs in a dispute. So, when's a change order needed? There are a large number of possibilities, but the general classes are 1. When a change is being required, when extra work is being authorized, when optional work is being activated, when any new prices are being set, such as for quantity variations, or when any delay or acceleration is being approved. Change orders are not required when there is no impact on contract cost or time. Field memos or site instructions are satisfactory for those items. A change order which will affect costs can be priced in any of three basic ways. The simplest is to use a lump sum for clearly defined work. This minimizes the accounting workload in the field. The next alternative is to use one or more new unit prices. This will require tracking of the actual quantities involved in the change. Finally, the method of force account, sometimes known as cost plus or time and materials, is available when quantities cannot be determined at the time of pricing or pricing cannot be agreed upon. This method requires the highest degree of field accounting on both sides for all of the time and materials and subcontractor efforts involved every day. In the video, The Contemplated Change Order and RFQ, I discussed the ideal process for generating change orders. Specifically, number 1, gather the data and define the task. Number 2, write a complete contemplated change order. Number 3, receive the quotation. Number 4, negotiate the quotation. Number 5, issue the change order. And number 6, start the work the change order covers. In the real world, stuff happens, and this ideal sequence is more often a goal than reality. However, the closer you can follow this sequence, the easier the task will be. Let me discuss negotiation. It's not often the case that the CA will receive a quotation that does not need clarification and usually some negotiation about the cost or time. This is to be expected. The contractor is a for-profit business, and part of the CA's role is to watchdog costs for the owner. When the negotiation is over a quotation for extra work, both parties have the flexibility to withdraw or to choose to continue to negotiate to an agreement. When the negotiation is about a quotation for a potential change, the owner has the ability to say, "This will be done and you will do it." In those circumstances, negotiations are more unbalanced. Nevertheless, the CA is expected to make a fair evaluation of the quotation. Normally, it's in everyone's best interest to come to an agreement on price and time before the work must be tracked using force account forms. Often, when negotiations seem to reach an impasse, creative thinking about other issues on the job may lead to a new solution. For example, the contractor may agree not to put in a request for extra costs for other delays caused by the owner or CA if he receives the time extension requested in this quotation. Reaching a mutually agreed solution is always the best outcome. In the end, if negotiations fail, the fallback position is for force account cost tracking. In this way, the contractor knows it will be paid if forced to do work under a change order where pricing has not been agreed to ahead of time. Now, let's return to the example. Through the CA, the owner has asked for a quotation to build a retaining wall. As you can see from the drawing, this wall will require some unspecified quantity of grade work to reach final slopes. The CA issued CCO 23.1 and received quotation RRC 2012-57 in return. The contractor has offered two pricing options: one fixed price to eliminate the owner's risk, and one where the unquantified grade work is done at unit price with a lump sum for the balance. This would reduce the contractor's risk and potentially the owner's cost. The contractor has identified the time extension requested under each of the two pricing options. And to reduce the owner's cost, the owner has offered an alternative drain rock for consideration. On reviewing the quotation with the owner has indicated it would really prefer a fixed price, but the option one price seemed a little high. Furthermore, the CA believes the time extension is too long, as much of this proposed extra work can be done concurrently with other contract work. Additionally, the owner does not see enough of a saving to approve the alternate drain rock. Then, the CA and the contractor enter into negotiations. Eventually, the contractor agrees that a 4-day time extension is adequate and a lump sum of $32,500 is acceptable. The CA then writes up the change order similar to this. Let me review some of the highlighted features to see why it can be so simple. Firstly, the form used will be the one the owner has approved for use on this contract. I've used a standard MMCD template, but this will not normally be the case. The change order number will be assigned by the owner's accounting or finance staff and becomes the tracking number for all related internal approvals and correspondence. The key to a simple change order is the two lines referencing the CCO and quotation. If these documents are in place and are unequivocal, i.e. there's no confusion about what was required by the CCO and what was quoted upon, then the change order can be just this simple. Just make sure that the numbers and dates refer to the latest versions of each. Sometimes negotiations are formalized with an exchange of paper, but often the agreement is just done on a handshake with the change order left to formalize it. If the agreement was put on paper, then refer to that document in the change order also. If the agreement was informal, then document the agreed terms and the date of the agreement in the change order. Again, we want to follow the say it once principle so there's no chance of saying the same thing differently in two places. Make sure to update the new estimated contract value and the revised substantial completion date with the effects of this change. Finally, it is essential that the CA sign it. That is the only signature that can change the contract and force a contractor to do additional work. Note that while we have a spot for the contractor to sign the change order, this is not essential. Only the CA signature is required. The contractor's signature only confirms receipt. Acceptance is mandatory by this point. Once signed by the CA, the change is formalized and the contractor has no further opportunity to withdraw the quotation. So, to summarize, the CA and only the CA must issue a change order anytime there's to be a change to the contract price or time outside of the terms as tendered. The contractor must not do any work on a change order item until the change order has been issued, but then must comply immediately. The sequence of documents is ideally as follows: drawings and specs to define the work, a contemplated change order, a quotation culminating in a change order, often following negotiations. The say at once principle should be used in all documents in this sequence. This makes it easy to keep the documents simple and clear. I hope this has helped clarify this contract consideration. Please check our website for further assistance and to see what other topics are presented in this series. Thanks for watching.